right now, because if you have been following along this morning, let me pull that up. There's a live shot from the ICE facility in South Portland. Now, in case you have not heard, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is due to be landing in Portland here imminently. We don't know if she's landed yet, but at any point will be landing in Portland, and it's anticipated she's going to be heading to that facility there in South Portland. And we're actually, that's our live shot. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and get our own Ezra Kaplan up. I know that he is out there. I'm going to go ahead and just double check something right here. So again, this is a live shot of that as it's going on. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over, and we've got, sounds like a whole bunch of music going on right now is what I'm hearing. Ezra, are you there? Okay, that's not bringing up Ezra, so we'll go ahead and see what's going on. I'm not sure where that music was coming from, but again, there's a live shot of the facility. I'm going to go ahead and switch. Okay, I'm going to hold on this here for a second, so if everybody can hold with me as we're anticipating this. So this news came out here this morning that they were going to be coming up. Okay, let's switch over to a different live view. I think that we've got Ezra up now. Hey, Ezra, can you hear me right now?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes, Ezra, I can hear you now. Okay, I had a different feed up, but I've got you right now. So I've got this shot up right now. It looks like this is from your camera. Where are you at exactly right now?
That's right. So I'm currently on the balcony of one of the residents who lives across the street from the ICE facility. What you're looking at right now on the camera is a significant number of federal agents who have spent the last 10-15 minutes or so removing what was an upside down flag that had been attached to that fence. It looked like it was kind of done through tying red, white, and blue ribbons. But again, it was an upside down flag. And what we've seen over the past 20, 30 minutes or so are federal agents kind of patrolling this area and doing a couple different things. We've seen them do some sweeps of the perimeter of kind of this area here, making sure that, you know, this is a typical thing they do before any dignitary would visit a facility like this, making sure that there's no dangers, explosive devices, anything like that. So we've seen that, but we've also seen several of them walking around and removing signs, removing things that in general state messages that are anti-ICE, anti-federal government. So we've seen several of those federal agents going around and removing several of those signs, putting them into trash bags, and just kind of removing them from the scene. It does seem that they're trying to kind of visually clean up the area pretty significantly. We don't think that Secretary Noem has arrived yet. We don't believe so, but it does appear that these agents are getting ready for that to happen. So as you can see, they're heading back to the facility now, and I'll zoom in here. About 20-30 minutes ago, there was an upside down flag right on that fence right there. That is now gone, as well as other signage that various protesters have left in the area. Now, I do want to also kind of paint the scene for you here. They have cleared about a block in every direction around the ICE facility, pushing back members of the public as well as media. They're working with the Portland Police Department, which is pretty typical for a dignitary's visit, to deal with perimeter security and other aspects of security. So we know that that is not exactly out of the norm for a cabinet level member of the government coming to visit a facility or a location here in Portland. Otherwise, so let me actually just show you a little bit of that. So we do see Portland police are kind of maintaining security around the building. They're not over at the ICE facility, but they are kind of maintaining that corridor. So that's what we've got for now. And I'm going to just pan back over here. And I'll give you a quick little look here. So this is where I am, and we have a view kind of right over the shoulder of the ICE facility there. We'll be staying on top of this. As soon as we learn more, we'll come back to you and bring you any of that updated information. For now, I'm going to keep monitoring the situation from here, just outside the ICE facility on the south waterfront, and I'll send it back to you, Greg, if you got any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Ezra. I mean, this is a pretty unique shot that you have right here. So again, for people joining in, this is from a residence right there within that, looks like that secure area that they have.
That's right.
And now you mentioned that they were
That's
cleaning
right.
up.
So we
Oh, go
are.
ahead.
Yeah, so we're at somebody's residence who I've been working with and talking to. This is a very unique position. So this is somebody's home. This is their balcony, and this is the view that they've had, for the past many months, but especially as protests have ebbed and flowed. In addition, just the proximity to the ICE facility behind me, they have dealt with a significant amount of chemical agents that when they're deployed down there on the street, they come right up here into her residence. Even with the doors closed, they seep in. It's meant that she can't use the balcony. She has a child, and the child can't really spend that much time out here. So this is somebody who I've been talking to for quite a while. And so for now, we're gonna just hang out on her balcony and observe the day as it progresses.
Yeah, it looks like, as you mentioned, a lot of stuff going on there on the edges. Sounds like a lot in the background. I don't know what all that, street noise or if there's some kind of a loudspeaker going on. Is that what I'm hearing in the background there?
Yeah, there are loudspeakers being used by protesters, folks who are here demonstrating. There's not a huge crowd of protesters here. What we're seeing this morning is kind of that typical what we were seeing before a lot of this attention just picked up. Maybe a dozen folks, right? Probably fewer than a dozen folks would gather here. Much more media than protesters here at the moment. And so what you might have been hearing are the megaphones from some of those protesters. Additionally, some protesters have set up some PA systems or loudspeakers where they're playing various music, and that's pretty much the scene down here. It's entirely civil. Folks are hanging out behind the yellow line, and we're just kind of waiting to see what's going on.
All right. Well, Ezra, thank you very much for bringing this to us. And as you mentioned, we'll come back to you once we know a little bit more. I haven't received any word myself yet if the Homeland Security Secretary has landed or not, but we'll check back in with you. Thank you for getting us this shot. I'll let you get back to hanging out on that balcony and see what's going on.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks,
Rick.
Ezra. And we'll go ahead and switch back here for everybody here watching live. I'm going to show you another shot. We do have some more, another camera there down on the ground, just looking outside of that ICE facility. And again, we're still awaiting word on when Department of Homeland Security Secretary Noem lands. We're anticipating she's going to be going to this ICE facility. Portland police have put out notifications that be forewarned that there could be disruptions to traffic. So for those of you who are planning on driving around anywhere between maybe the airport and that ICE facility here coming up in the near future, you could have some interruptions there. But that was Ezra Kaplan, again, live there within that secure boundary, that secure perimeter from a residence of one of those people. And as he was mentioning, they've been there this whole time. So when you're talking about tear gas, whatever have you, that's all going into their home right there, that apartment. Where Ezra was at. So we'll check back in with him in a little bit. We're going to continue on here, though, for this morning. I'll go ahead and bring us back here in the studio right now for where we are.
She stashed the fires up a big old black cash patel. Doesn't know where to look, he's living in hell because he knows that he got to. Don't get distracted, we want the unredacted. Epstein files, Trump is pissed cause he's on the list. He's shitting his pants cause he knows there's no chance that we will ever let this go. Even Elon
Just showing you live there from the ICE facility. This is our camera that's down there. We've been bringing you some coverage of this, along with our own Ezra Kaplan, who is down there within that secure zone. So this is near the facility. To catch you up to date with what we know, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem landing in Portland, and anticipating at any point this could be her plane. I don't have confirmation on that, but that's what we're anticipating that is. Landing in Portland and making a visit to the ICE facility there in South Portland. So we're taking you back and forth in between these different shots here, so you can see what we're looking at. But yeah, this is out here, I believe, at the Portland airport right there. Atlantic Aviation. Atlantic Aviation is where this is at. So this is the plane that we believe has the Department of Homeland Security Secretary. And we'll go ahead and leave it on this here for you right now. I'm going to gather some more information for you, but we'll leave this live shot here with you while we get some more info for you. Okay, so as we're getting this lined up here, I'm going to take you back to this. This is a live shot here from the ICE facility. As I mentioned, we were speaking to Ezra Kaplan here earlier, who was within that zone. Now, they have blocked off a lot of, about a block, I believe it was what Ezra was saying, all around the facility from traffic. Portland police are blocking off some of those roads. We've seen a lot of different people cleaning up things outside of the facility. There was an upside down flag that made out of ribbons that have been out there. That was cleaned up here just shortly ago, as Ezra was showing us that. You see a lot of people patrolling, something that's fairly typical for when you do have somebody that's going to be visiting a facility like that. And so that's our live shot there. Let's go ahead and go back here toward, this was our shot there near the airport, Atlantic Aviation, but I'm going to go ahead and switch this back over. As you can see, some of the Portland airport there in the background. Okay, and okay, so we have, yeah, there we go. So Atlantic Aviation. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this on here, and we're going to get some more info. All right, so again, we are taking a look here. That is a live shot from Atlantic Aviation near the Portland Airport. We believe that is the plane carrying, or at least where the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has come in on. We also have a live shot here going over to the ICE facility. I'm going to switch over to that. I believe we have our own McKenna Marks joining us right now. Hey, McKenna, can you hear me by chance?
I can hear you, Greg.
Hey, McKenna. All right, thank you so much. So I've got your shot here pulled up. Can you just tell us where you're at and describe that scene that you're looking at right there?
Yeah, so we are standing right on the corner in front of the ICE building on South McAdam right now, and you can see kind of a barricade that PPB has set up to facilitate traffic. They also have several blocks surrounding the ICE building blocked off at this time to prepare for Secretary Noem's arrival. You can see some federal agents grouped outside of the ICE building. They've been coming in and out to let some vehicles go in and out of the gates there. You might be able to hear some music that's being played by protesters who are right now gathered with the media outside along this barricade. I'm not sure if you said, Greg, that if Secretary Noem's plane is still at PDX. We haven't seen her arrive here yet, so we're still waiting for that big arrival here.
Still waiting for that big arrival. Yeah, we do have a shot there, from the airport. It looks like the plane has landed. I can hear a lot of what people are hearing there in the background is a lot of that music. I mean, and talking about that, looking at where we're at right now, looks like Portland police having some of those streets blocked off, more cameras down there. How many people would you say are out there right now?
Let me step back so I can get a better look. Maybe what I'm looking at is mostly media. There's maybe a dozen protesters or spectators here gathered along South McAdam at the moment. Now, I believe there are more protesters further down the road on the other side of this blockade, but I can't give you an exact number across the street at the moment. But over on this side, maybe about 12 protesters gathered with the news media.
Gosh, about 12 protesters. Yeah, it looks like a lot of media out there. Somebody blasting some music along with this as well. We also got Ezra there earlier. He's up on a balcony right around there as well within that perimeter. But yeah, we're awaiting news as well, whether or not or when she's going to be going over there. But McKenna, thank you, for joining in. Anything else that you think is important, just for people to know, around that area, if they are going to be heading down there? I mean, this looks fairly contained as far as what's going on there. But anything else that you would want to bring up, just for people who are following along with what's been going on down there?
Yeah, as of right now, we haven't seen any kind of altercations. Everyone's been civil, just standing here waiting. As you can hear the music, but that's about the most that's going on right now. I would say if you plan on driving by this area, traffic seems to be a little bit backed up because of the barricades from PPB, so I would maybe plan for some delays if you're passing through the area. But other than that, we haven't seen any kind of altercations between protesters, federal agents, PPB, nothing like that.
Yeah, looks pretty civil, as you mentioned, and traffic flowing there on the other side. So, all right, well, thank you very much, McKenna. I'm going to go ahead and we'll cut back to our airport shot here, too, just to take a look at that. But we'll check back in with you here in just a little bit. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Okay, I'm going to pop that down there. So that music that you were hearing in the background, that is coming from that area, from some people who are near that facility. Let's go ahead and go. There is our shot there live from the airport, a Coast Guard plane of some kind. Again, this is what we anticipate that the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem flew in on. We're watching this live with you, so I don't know if anybody's departed or not, but I'm going to leave it on this shot here for a minute as we gather some more information for you and let you know what's going on. But again, we're anticipating she will be going to that ICE facility. We'll get you back and forth in between those and get as much information as possible, but I'll leave it on here for now. All right, again, thank you for joining us. We're live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, but I've got that shot that you're looking at right now is from Atlantic Aviation, which is near Portland Airport, right there, adjacent to the Portland Airport, and we believe that is the plane that Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has flown in on, a Coast Guard plane. We don't know if she's left the facility yet, but the plan, from what we've been told, is that she's going to be heading to the ICE facility in South Portland. And this is the shot I'm pulling up here right now. We had Ezra Kaplan on here earlier with us. Ezra, I believe you can hear me right now. Is that right? Are you getting me in there?
That's right. Yep, I've got you here. Not a whole lot has changed here. It does seem that folks are getting ready for Secretary Noem's arrival. I'm hearing a little bit of chatter that there might have been some delays at the airport. But it does sound like she is expected to be here relatively soon, and that she is at least, her plane has at least landed. So just to give you a little bit more, just to set the scene here for you a little bit, I am right across from the ICE facility on South Macadam Avenue, and what we have seen in about the last hour or so is that Portland police have shut down about a block or so in every direction from the facility in preparation for the visit from a cabinet level administration official, in this case Secretary Noem. So I'm going to pan over here and just show you a little bit. This is the PPB officers who have shut this down. Now where I am standing is actually inside of this cordoned off area. I'm on the balcony of somebody who lives right across from the ICE facility and who has witnessed it both with her own eyes and with cameras from her balcony for several months now. So I'm just we're taking a look here. We are starting to see a little bit of movement, some cars moving around up here. But we don't have any specific information on the exact timeline for when Secretary Noem will be arriving here at the ICE facility. Excuse me. But we do know that, there is not a lot of access or visibility. Members of the media as well as the public have been pushed back, like I said, at least a block away. Another thing to kind of notice here is that over here, if you look where I'm pointing the camera, there used to be, right behind that "Do Not Enter" sign, there used to be a flag, an upside down American flag with that was kind of made out of ribbons, red, white, and blue ribbons tied to the fence, kind of like what you see for some high school pep rallies. But what I observed were several federal agents who came out with some knives or scissors and actually cut down that whole flag, removed it. They also were going around the area removing other signs that had been posted by protesters, by folks who have gathered here over the past days, weeks, and months. It does seem like they were trying to visually clean up the area ahead of Secretary Noem's arrival. We haven't really seen that kind of sign removal very often before, so it does seem that the timing of that most likely is not just coincidence. But other than that, it's, this morning what we're seeing is really pretty typical of what we were seeing before all the attention on the protests picked back up. And I'm going to switch the camera around here a little bit. We're seeing just about maybe a dozen, maybe a little bit more than a dozen at any given time, protesters who have gathered outside this facility. That's kind of been the norm before we started getting a lot of that extra attention from the Trump administration. And so, it is a weekday morning, and people are at work. This isn't necessarily the peak time when protesters come out, but I do think it's a stark visual of kind of the current situation outside this ICE facility that has repeatedly been cited by the federal government as a point where they need backup from the National Guard to be able to defend it, to protect this federal property. I think those claims by the federal government do stand in stark contrast to what we are seeing on the ground and what we have observed on the ground. So for now, I'm gonna toss it back to you. If you've got any questions, let me know. But like I said, we're waiting currently for Secretary Kristi Noem to arrive here at the Portland ICE facility on South Macadam Avenue, and we're on watch for that.
All right, Ezra, thank you so much. And I'll let you get back to it. I mean, really appreciate this vantage point too of getting to see that. I think your commentary there too about that stark contrast between what's being said and what we're visually seeing right there. I mean, I can hear a lot of music in the background from, I believe that's from some of the protesters that are down there that are playing some music, but not a lot of people. Traffic seems to be flowing, and we'll let you know too if we hear any word on when Secretary Noem is heading that way from our end. But appreciate all that you're doing there. I'll let you get back to it for right now, though.
Sounds good. Thanks, Craig.
All right, a huge thank you to Ezra Kaplan. So I'll let him go as he's standing out there on that balcony. This is back to our live shot there from from Atlantic Aviation next to the Portland Airport. Again, this is the Coast Guard plane that we believe that Secretary Noem was flown in on. I'm going to leave it on this shot here for you for right now. We're going to try to gather some more information and see if I can get you some more information on whether or not she has left the facility or what's happening there. So we'll leave you with this for right now. We are with you here live from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. All right, again, continuing to get information here as we're taking a look there at the live shot from the Portland Airport. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. We don't believe that she's left the facility yet, but I don't have that confirmed one way or another. But let's go and take another look here from that ICE facility in South Portland. We've shown you a few different angles, a few different looks here. There's another one right there. You can see Portland police working to cordon off. I believe it's about a block around that facility is blocked off from traffic as they are anticipating her arrival. You can see some of the protesters in the background. Not a whole lot of people here. Talking to our own McKenna Marks earlier, it sounded like about maybe a dozen or so that she had noticed, and a lot of media down there. Sounded like more media than actual protesters or people down there on either side of the field. But you can see traffic flowing there by Macadam Avenue. Yeah, where we're at right now is taking a look with everybody else, waiting for Kristi Noem, for Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to arrive. And we'll continue to bring you these shots here. We're leading up to our noon news. We've had Ezra Kaplan on live. As soon as we get more information, we will get that to you as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and leave it on a couple of these different shots for right now, and I'll join in here as we gather some more information. All right, we are live here in the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. That is a shot there right near the ICE facility in South Portland. As you can see, some people gathered back there, both media, protesters, or people gathering to at least witness what is going on, and that is because we're anticipating that Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, as I've been mentioning here throughout the hour, is, we believe that is the Coast Guard plane that she landed on, and that she's going to be heading to that ICE facility at some point. We don't know when. We don't have an exact timeline on that, or whether she's going to make any kind of public comments. But because, so we're, again, I'll switch you back over here to taking a look there at the facility itself. They've cordoned off, in coordination with the Portland Police, about a block all around there. They've been doing some cleaning up throughout over this last hour. We've had Ezra Kaplan, who is there at a residence within that cordoned off section, and he was showing us here a little bit earlier just some of the different ways that they've been cleaning up, which is supposedly typical when a dignitary is going to arrive at a facility like this. They clean up around there, getting rid of some of the signs. We're just going to keep on monitoring this. Our new news is going to take over here in just a few minutes, and we're going to be with you here. We have people on the scene, both at the airport. We have a couple of people down there at the ICE facility. As we find out more information, we will get that to you. But for right now, this is where we're at. This is the live scene. Not a lot going on down there right now, as we've been hearing from our reporters who are down there on the scene. But we will keep you up to date as we find out more information. I'll just leave it on this shot here for right now, and we'll switch it up here, and I'll see what other information I can get you. Anyway, well, as you can see right here, we're going to continue on with our coverage of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Noem's visit to Portland, to that ICE facility in South Portland. So we'll have some live updates with that as we go through the afternoon. We're also going to be doing some more regular Fox 12 Now stories. We've got a tour of the Reed College nuclear reactor that we're going to be doing, which is a pretty great story right there, and talking to the Portland Art Museum. But obviously, this is the big news here this afternoon. So we'll continue on with this right at 1 o'clock. And if there's breaking news, we'll have that as well, all over here on Fox 12 Now. Hey, McKenna, can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think that somebody just made a mistake. Hey, McKenna, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. We are live streaming right now, but I'm going to go ahead and take us live over to the Fox 12 Now side of things. So I'll go live and then I'll bring it on. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to hear the intro, and then I'll bring you on.
Are we doing like a Q&A, or should I just give a
Yeah, like a
little
Q&A
update?
and honestly, whatever is going on right there with that bicyclist. We can talk about that.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get us going. I'll bring you on here in just like 60 seconds or so.
Copy that.
First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you very much for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, and we appreciate you following our coverage here throughout the day. Obviously, the big story right now is the fact that Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem visiting Portland, currently now at the ICE facility in South Portland. And we've had our reporters out there all morning, including McKenna Marks, who is joining us right now. And let's go ahead and see if we can pull up McKenna here onto this for a two-shot here. But McKenna, thanks for joining us. I know you've been out here all morning. There's a lot going on. Right before we brought you on, I just noticed, so it looks like you're there where where things are kind of barricaded off, where you're not supposed to go past that line. We saw a bicyclist go past that line just a minute ago. Can you just tell us what happened there for anybody who was watching that scene?
Yeah, absolutely. So right before you took us live, Greg, I'm standing here at Moody and Lowell, just about maybe a block away from the ICE facility. As you can see, there is a PPB blockade here. But we did see a bicyclist who said that they might live in this apartment complex right here. They went past this police line and were immediately stopped by about 3 officers who told them that they had to go around, had to go back onto the sidewalk and away from the blockade area. And the bicyclist obliged right away. There wasn't any kind of altercation there. But yeah, we're at a different location than we were about 20 minutes ago. There's less people over here, maybe some spectators, a couple protesters shouting at PPB officers right now. We haven't seen any kind of altercations between protesters and PPB. We had that one bicyclist going to the line, but they listened to officers when they told them to go around. But yeah, we have no real update. We still don't know what Secretary Noem's plans are for the day, but as soon as that information becomes available, we'll be sure to keep you updated, Greg.
Okay, and yeah, thanks, McKenna. I mean, I think going back there, actually, where you were just showing there, that the group over there, that does not seem to be a whole lot of people. It looks to be like maybe some more press, I'm not sure, media over there, in addition to, yeah, like you mentioned, a couple of people yelling, but overall, that seems like a pretty calm situation down there, just from the outlook right here.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a lot of press here at this spot and where I was about 20 minutes ago. But yeah, as you can see, a small crowd gathering. Somebody has a megaphone and is shouting at PPB, but that's about all that's happening over here on this corner right now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And as far as we know, just to update on this part, the Homeland Security Secretary is still there at the facility, as far as we know, right?
I have not heard otherwise. Yeah, we did see a small motorcade head into the building around 12:15, and I haven't seen any motorcade coming out of the building. So
okay.
I would imagine she is still inside the ICE facility.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, McKenna. We'll check back in here a little bit later then if something's going on, but we'll go ahead and bring it back here in studio. Thanks, McKenna, for your reporting there and being down there as well.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Okay, and we are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. So for those of you who are joining us, we're bringing you this information as we get it. I do need to just do one thing here and pull up another shot. I believe we're going to be getting, if we can get a hold of Ezra Kaplan. I believe Ezra's going to be joining us here in just a minute. And he has been down there reporting on this as well, reporting on the situation down there by the ICE facility. But while we're pulling him up, I will go ahead and just update you again on what we know here. So McKenna's going back there. McKenna, you're good to go. Just letting you know as you're out there in the facility or out there on location. But for Ezra, we're going to get Ezra on here in just a second. And he has been there at actually a residence location there by the ICE facility. I'll go ahead and pull this shot back up here so you can, if we can pull up that shot so we can get that on there. Yeah, there we go. So taking a look there live outside of the ICE facility in South Portland. And the secretary landed earlier this morning. We saw a motorcade leave the airport. Motorcade head there to the ICE facility, as McKenna was mentioning. Not a whole lot of activity on there. For those of you who are around that area, this is our camera person actually walking around now, getting some footage. Again, this is live footage of that facility down there. Their roads are blocked off around a block around on every side by Portland police. So that's to keep traffic from coming in and out of there. So if you are going to be traveling around that area, just be aware of that. Otherwise, we saw some various officers of picking up debris earlier today. They were cleaning up some of the things. There was an upside down flag that was kind of strewn into one of the fences. Ezra showed us that earlier. That was cleaned up. So they did a few things like that earlier today before the arrival of that motorcade and moving around there. So getting another shot here. Actually, this is a good shot of some of the people that are down there. Outside of the facility, it looks like McKenna's going to be talking to some people. I'm going to check here really quick and see if we can get Ezra on, and we'll get him on here in a second. We'll go ahead and leave it on this shot right now, though. Since this is the one that we have. So this is, again, outside that facility. We don't know what the plan is for Kristi Noem. We don't know if there's any kind of public address. We haven't heard of anything like that that's going to be happening. So we don't know as far as anything that's public facing. But we do know that she is there for some kind of meetings or some kind of meeting, and we're just following along with that ourselves. So she landed, it appeared to be in a Coast Guard plane at the Atlantic Aviation Facility next to the Portland Airport. And that's what we saw earlier today. So we're going to attempt to get Ezra on here. Again, as I mentioned, he is down there as well. It looks like a lot of, okay, we've got Ezra Pullen, who's logging in right now. So we're going to go ahead and get him switched over here in just a second. I'll pull him up. Ezra, hey, I'm going to switch it over to you. Can you hear me right now?
I've got you loud and clear.
All right, great. So Ezra Kaplan joining us right there. So we were just talking to McKenna, who's down on the ground there, talking to, I believe, probably somewhere back over there. Or I'm not sure actually where her angle was, but anyway,
yeah.
She was just.
Yeah, so McKenna's actually right over there, I do believe. I think I saw her a little bit ago. So she's got the angle from right there. That's where any vehicles who've been coming or going from inside this kind of security zone have been leaving or coming in and out of. So that's where McKenna is at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay. Looks like she's over there doing some interviews right now, talking to some of those protesters out there. But Ezra, let's recap for everybody and for people who are just joining too, if you don't mind letting them know, because you're in this really unique perspective here of within this kind of secured perimeter by the ICE facility. Can you let everybody know where you're at?
So right now I'm on a balcony right across from the ICE facility on South Macadam Avenue. This is the location where the protests have been happening really for several months now, especially since the national attention from the Trump administration has been brought on the situation here. I'm going to flip the camera around here. Bear with me for just a moment. But if you can see here, the local law enforcement have shut down and basically cleared out about a block radius all around the ICE facility. So this right here, what you're looking at in front of you, is the ICE facility. And like I said, what you saw previously, my fellow reporter McKenna's shot is right over there. Now I'm going to show you just a little bit here. This is something that we saw before the Kristi Noem arrived at the facility. Right here, there was a bunch of signs and an upside-down American flag. We saw federal protective services or federal agents come out, remove those, cut them off the fence, and put them into a trash bag, and take them, and some of those signs as well, and take them back into the ICE facility with them. Now, we know that Secretary Noem arrived here about an hour ago, more or less. What we don't really know is what is on her agenda, what she's planning to do while she's here, who she's planning to speak with. We do know, however, that the protests here outside of the ICE facility in Portland have gained the attention of the Trump administration. Let me flip the camera back around here for a second. We've seen that both in social media as well as in laws, in terms of lawsuits. This all kind of really got a lot more attention when we saw the Trump administration attempt to federalize National Guard troops initially here in Oregon and then later from other states to bring them to Oregon. And those efforts were, for now at least, successfully stopped by the state in federal court. Now, we also know that that temporary restraining order that a judge twice now has issued to stop the deployment is going to be going in front of an appellate court. That'll be happening later this week. For now, we're going to be staying here outside of the ICE facility, again, watching for anything from Secretary Noem while she's here. We haven't really seen anything since we saw her vehicle go into the building. And we also know that when she came in, the security posture here really did change. It went from a little bit more of protecting that entrance to everybody falling back to make sure that any protesters, any of the public are not able to come into what is this secure zone that we're now actually standing in. So I'll send it back to you, Greg. If you got any questions, happy to try my best to answer them.
Yeah, actually, taking a look there behind you, actually, on the ground there, it looks like there's a lot of, if you want to switch that camera and go on just for a second there, directly behind you, Ezra, along the sidewalk, there's a whole bunch of things. I was just wondering if you could explain to the left there, what's,
Sure.
right there, what is going on right there?
So this is basically the home base or the encampment that's been set up by several of the protesters. This has been here for quite a while. It has been swept by the city, kind of the same as they would sweep a unhoused encampment in other places. They generally, after the sweep, will get reset up. But this is somewhere that the activists and the protesters who have been coming here kind of day after day for well over 3 months now, before these protests got a lot of that national attention, they were coming down here. This is kind of their little bit of a home base. So there's a lot of supplies, there's some food, some water, some medical equipment there. This is kind of where they have been hanging out as they spend time outside of this ICE facility. So I can actually tell you, when I was coming down here initially, when these protests kind of all started several months ago, that little pavilion there is actually where they initially set up. They were kicked out of there a couple times, and so now they've moved over here where they seem to be pretty settled in. An interesting thing also to point out, this area right here behind the fence, this is actually a school, or was a school, and the school that occupied this space has since moved. And they said, in part due to the protests here, but specifically due to the excessive, or what they said was excessive use of chemical weapons in terms of tear gas, pepper spray, pepper balls. They said they had to move. And I'm just going to flip around. Where I'm standing right here, this is somebody's home, right? I'm actually on somebody's balcony looking out right across the street. And so for the person who lives here, who I've been in touch with quite a bit, it's really been quite... it's been quite hard living here. She has a small child, and the repeated deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, other chemical agents have made it so that she really can't let her child out on this balcony. And this is their outdoor space, and so it's been quite difficult for her. But on the other hand, she has had a very unique view of what's been going on here at the ICE facility day after day after day. And And it's one of the reasons I've been in touch with her, because it's really interesting to hear from folks who are really living it, not just coming down here for a protest and going home. This is home. She can't leave. So, yeah, any other questions, Greg?
Right. I mean, just thinking about that too. You know, the 24 hours a day there, as you mentioned, that school moving, and we've been hearing those reports of the school and things they've been doing. Sounds like there's some shouting going on right there. I'm not sure we know what that activity is that's happening there behind you right now.
We got a little bit of a convoy coming in right now to the facility. So I'm just giving you a live look here. This is not really sure what these vehicles are or whose they are. Some of them do appear to be law enforcement vehicles, but they are heading into the facility now. Again, just to recap and reiterate, we do know that Secretary Noem is at the ICE facility, and we don't know what she's doing or what's on her agenda, who she's speaking to. That's something that we will still be watching for.
Okay, so looks like, yeah, more people arriving there. We know Kristi Noem's in there, Secretary Noem's in there, and I guess we'll continue to follow along with this and bring people updates. Great vantage point, though, again. But what we were talking about there right before we saw this happen is just reiterating that for those people who do live in that area, you know, just some of the things that they've gone through as that, you know, the person whose balcony that you're on, and that school that's over there, and just all of that activity, and that's for anyone, that would be a lot to deal with, just living in a situation like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ezra.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Ezra, thank you so much, you know, for continuing to bring us this, and obviously we'll keep updating people as we know. If something goes on, we'll get you back on here. But thanks for joining us. I'll let you get back to it, and you know, we'll wait to see what happens there. Obviously, another group of cars coming in, whatever that means, we don't know. We'll let people know as soon as we do. But Ezra, thanks so much. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Greg. Good to chat.
All right, we'll go ahead and let Ezra get back to that there. If we want to go ahead and come back to the shot here in the studio, thank you. And for everybody who's watching, again, we are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. So we've been carrying this coverage since we found out today that Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is in town at that ICE facility there in South Portland, and we don't have a lot of info on exactly what she's doing. If there's going to be any kind of a public statement or anything along those lines, we'll bring you that update as we get it. We do have multiple reporters down there, as you saw Ezra Kaplan there on the balcony at that private residence. A really unique perspective, and that's what, just to reiterate that part, you know, for the people who live in that area too, just what's going on there, but to get that kind of viewpoint from somebody. We've got a lot of coverage of that too at kptv.com, of just the different situations that have developed there over the last couple of months. I'm taking a look here. It looks like, okay, yeah, so our other reporter, McKenna and Vince are down there as well. They're getting some interviews with some of the protesters. Not a lot of activity down there, generally speaking, but we have spoken to some people down there, so we'll continue to get that coverage to you. For right now, though, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. We'll bring this live stream back once we have something else happening, but currently there's just, quite honestly, not a whole lot that's going on right there. Just to reiterate to everybody again, if you are in that area, the Portland police have blocked off about a block around that facility. So if you are planning to be driving around there, be aware of that. At some point, there will probably be another motorcade either going in or out. We just saw that other one coming in, not sure what that was, but at some point, traffic will most likely be affected when the secretary leaves. In the meantime, we're following along. We're right there on the ground. We'll let you know as soon as we do. We'll come right back to this. So whatever platform you're watching us on, you can come right back there. I recommend it's the Fox 12 app. Great way to make sure that you get live notifications. You can watch us live. You can watch our other content as well. You know, we've got lots of things on there for you to see, but for this kind of breaking news, this is a great way to be able to get that, and then we can get that to you. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We do have some other Fox 12 Now coverage coming up here this afternoon, so we'll bring that. We'll bring you breaking news once we find out more of what's going on here at the ICE facility. But I'll talk to you then. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.